running, never stopping when you feel you're getting nowhere. Understanding where you're headed.
Normal political correctness you may have grown comfortable with. It's time for the Texas Perspective on current news and events. This show is not for the faint of heart or easily offended. Chances are you will learn something and along the way get to hear some great music from bands you may have missed. The doctor is in, and he will see you now.
Well, I guess we better get on with it.
Well, I may not actually be able to see you now, but you can see me if you're on YouTube. All you got to do is go to the Amazing Doc Green Show on YouTube, and we're there. And not only are we there, but we have a live chat room. So if you want to become part of the show, you can go to YouTube. You can find the Amazing Doc Green Show there. You can log into the chat room, and bammo, you are part of the Amazing Doc Green Show. We got a little change up today. Amber Kamick has been delayed, and so she will be in at 2 o'clock. And that means the first hour today, we're going to be talking to Mike Cassidy, a.k.a. Mike the Voice. And good afternoon to you, Mike.
Good afternoon, Doc.
It's nice to chat with you, and tell people about what you do.
What I do right now, I'm in the middle of starting a career in the voiceover industry. So moving from voiceover to acting, narrative pieces, and of the sort. So.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to do voice on air or even public speaking. And I'm occasionally appalled when I go to certain places and there are people that are speaking, and I'm sure that they are intelligent. I'm sure that they know a lot of stuff, but they lack the ability to be able to articulate that. And Mike, that's something that you would do.
Exactly. Articulate it and bring real life experiences, to your work and to what's going on presently. So definitely.
Well, the key to any good program, if you're trying to get something across, is you do have to have a good spokesperson. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important that you pick someone that's able to articulate. I was listening to a radio show the other day, and they had some, call-ins, and I do call-in on this show, too. In fact, the call-in number, by the way, is 855-355-1955. 855-355-1955. Save that number. But I was listening to somebody, and I know that this person knew exactly what he wanted to say. I know that he had something important he wanted to get out, but God bless him, his speaking skills were so poor, it was painful to listen to, Mike.
Oh, wow, that's that's something, I mean, sometimes you just got to look into yourself, and just come across, be real with people and, just tell them exactly what's going on with you, Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Sometimes things can be hard, they can be rough, but you know what? You must have the courage, you say what you need to say.
Well, the ability to be able to articulate that is what is so important. So, I know in the case of, let's say James Earl Jones, perhaps one of the finest voices on the planet, I know that having listened to his testimony, he had a real problem coming up all the way into high school with stuttering. And so...
yes, I actually...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, yes, that's actually something, watching documentaries and interviews of James Earl Jones, growing up. I mean, as somebody in the industry, definitely somebody, you look up to, somebody with a more of a bass or a baritone voice, get some inspiration. And, he grew up, and I believe it was Mississippi or Missouri. And, from a young age, he had a stuttering problem, he was one equipped with a stutter, if you will. So, overcoming that, persevering and, working with a vocal coach, So I definitely agree with it.
Well, that's one of the things that I think somebody can work on. So what caused you to decide to want to get into this line of work, Mike?
Voiceover work and acting, it's something that's always intrigued me from a young age personally. Something I didn't get into, actually until, a little later on in my life. But, narrative, storytelling, portraying a character, getting the feeling and the point across, no matter what the story is something that's always been on my mind. And, it's something from, being a young kid, listen, in the car, listening to music, and visualizing the artist, the performer, in front of the microphone in the recording studio. That's something that's actually I've always done from a very young age, and something that just kind of stuck with me. I get compliments on my voice, pretty frequently, and it's just it just kind of fits.
Well,
with what I want to do. And
but is that something that did that come natural to you, or did you work with a voice coach to be able to attain that?
As far as my voice goes, what you see, what you hear, I should say, is what you get. This is no, this is no front, if you will. I'm not putting on a show. This isn't, me trying to make my voice deeper. It is what it is. So no vocal coach.
Okay. Well, that's, in my case, being raised on a farm in Wyoming, I had to work on my voice and articulation a little bit because they don't talk like this in Wyoming. So it took me a few years to overcome that, but because I was a performer, I felt like it was necessary to develop a voice and learn how to articulate very well, and hopefully with a more of a generic accent as opposed to the Wyoming accent or even the Texas accent.
Okay. As far as that goes, yes. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes, when one may speak, words can kind of blend together, mix together. It is important to pronunciate, and, as far as that goes, I was born and raised here in California. I'm actually downtown in San Diego, in Southern California. So, personally, there was no real, hard accent, for the lack of a better phrase, as far as that goes. But, and pointers and, vocal coaches and things of that nature, they're definitely a great asset to anybody getting into, any sort of, vocal work, from singing to video, anything of the sort. So it's definitely a good way to go.
Well,
get the proper training, if you will, yeah.
For instance, one of the things you do is you help people to articulate their message, because if you want to get the word out, you need to do it, and you need to do it well. I think we have one right here. Let me see if we can get this into play.
Hi, I'm Mike the Voice. Voice talent is used for commercials, characters, ebooks, documentaries, narration of sales presentations, movie trailers, and so much more. We provide high-quality voice recordings to your business needs. We can produce sample readings for your review. We are now focused on web commercials for companies. Visit MikeTheVoice.com to review samples of my voice in many business applications.
Well, like for instance on that, I heard a number of different accents that were used there to, correct, maybe to pick the right one to exemplify your business.
As far as those goes, the accents in there, I went with a Russian accent, more of an Irish accent, a Middle Eastern accent, a British accent, and and actually my normal speaking voice, as far as that matter goes. So definitely, all in all, I would have to say, my natural voice, would probably depict my business, the best. But to add that variety into it, and to add that texture, if you will, sometimes, to have a different perspective, or a different outlook on, whose life it is.
Well, here's another one. Let's try this one to see what this one sounds like.
In the light of the moon, an old egg laid on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and popped. Out of the egg climbed a tiny and hungry little caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears. He was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums, but he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries, but he was still hungry.
You know, that kind of reminds me of a discussion of the government. It's like it's like the hungry caterpillar. It's never satiated. But that was you reading a children's book. So, you know, that's pretty cool.
I appreciate that, Doc. Thank you. You know, and I agree. You know, it's like never satisfied in a sense. You know, I definitely, amen to that for sure. As far as the children's book goes, yeah, it's definitely, you know, more of a, storytelling, in a way, kind of a narrative piece. But I mean, you know, it's a classic. You know, as a child growing up, you know, one of the first books you read or is read to you, you know, is The Hungry Caterpillar. So.
Well, I think it's really important, you know, to read to kids, and before they're able to read, you have to inspire them to want to hear stories, and so that was a good one. Let's get a little piece of this.
Shut up. You've got no idea, either one of you. No idea what it's like in there. What it does to him, man. How it brings him down the inside, twists him, changes him. Nobody leaves that place the same as they went in. Nobody comes out altered, rearranged, turned inside out. It's hell. Being locked away like that, being smothered, it's...
And by the way, that's a discussion on what it's like to be a congressman. So... No, you do some great stuff. You know, if any of you guys have anything out there that you want to get out, and a lot of you guys work with causes, and you've got to articulate your cause. So you can go to MikeTheVoice.com, and we got a lot of stuff right there, and a lot of those things we just played for you that Mike can voice over and record for you. They can put video with it and really do something nice to get your word out there. All you guys that are with organizations and whatnot, pretty important. So I was just checking in the chat room. We got Jay Stanley in there. So like if Jay Stanley is actually with a militia, if you want to promote your militia, for instance, something like that might be good. If you've got a political action committee and you want to get that word out, then, contacting someone like Mike the Voice might be a help to you in that respect. So, did you do some stuff for selfdefensefund.com also, Mike?
Self-Defense Fund, that I did, yes.
One of my favorites, near and dear to my heart. They, in the interest of full disclosure, they are a sponsor of this show, but I was a selfdefensefund.com member before they became a sponsor for this show because it's something that everyone should have. So tell me about your new project, The Acting Coach. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Acting Coach, that is a narrative piece directed by Zula Manal. And it's just very, it's very interesting, very unique. I was actually informed that it was brought to an independent film screening. I believe it was there in Houston, Texas. And, it was either up for an award or it actually won an award. So definitely, being a part of something like that, with such talented individuals, I've seen it. I've seen it on, I believe it is theactingcoach.com. You can find the full trailer there. And, it's good work, quality work. And, to add my narrative piece to it, if you will, I'm excited to see what the end result looks like, to be honest with you, Doc.
Well, Mike the Voice, MikeTheVoice.com is where you can find all of this information. And, all of his contact stuff and everything is there as well. You can reach him at 713-560-3348. Or you could just send an email to info@MikeTheVoice.com. But I'm encouraging all of you listening to this, particularly those of you that have activist organizations. It would be a great idea to get somebody like Mike the Voice to do a short video for your website, an introduction to who you are and what you do, and to have that done in a very clean, authoritative voice. That would be really good. And you can even pick the accents you want. So I like that. I like the Russian accent idea. I knew a guy that he couldn't wait. He had some Russians coming to pick up some furniture at his church, and they didn't know what he was doing, but he would go down there periodically and give them a note and say, "Could you read this for me?" One of them, for instance, was like, "Say moose and squirrel." In a Russian accent. So for all you Rocky and Bullwinkle fans out there, you know what he was getting at.
Like moose and squirrel.
There you go. That's what he wanted. He wanted to hear that in a Russian accent. So they never did figure out what he was doing, but but he was having a fun time doing it. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on the show today and talking a little bit about what you do. And I'm encouraging everyone to get in touch with him, MikeTheVoice.com, MikeTheVoice.com, and email info@MikeTheVoice.com. And, send him a note and say, hey, we got such an organization. We'd like to get you to do something for us. In fact, I was thinking about Houston's Voice for the Missing when Amber Kamek gets in here. We may have to talk to her about doing that. But, Mike, do you have anything else you want to share with the folks before I go to this next segment?
You know what? You clarified everything up perfectly. You got the message across. If you will, Doc, check out MikeTheVoice.com for any information you may be seeking. And thanks, Doc, for having me on the show.
Well, I appreciate you being here. So looking forward to hearing more from you. All right, guys, that's Mike the Voice. Mike Cassidy. Great guy, and you can get his information at MikeTheVoice.com. So I'm going to hit this, and I'll be right back on the Doc Green Show, top of the hour. Amber Kamek will be here, Houston's Voice for the Missing. And, of course, I called the sheriff's office. I got that on tap for you as well.
You just defended yourself with a gun. The police are called, and you're potentially involved in a homicide. But it was self-defense. At this point, you are not in your right mind. No one ever is when they are in fear for their life and defend themselves. Anything you say can and will be used in a court of law, both civilly and criminally. Fortunately, you have selfdefensefund.com. We are the National Association for Legal Gun Defense, and we protect our members nationally in all 50 states, up to $1 million per incident per member. Let us do the talking for you and visit selfdefensefund.com. Any weapon, any state, anytime.